Hey everyone, I'm Walter, and we're here today to look at some more stories from Reddit. Today is time for another story from Reddit Relationship Advice. This isn't actually about a romantic relationship, just about a dude who can't stop being a dick to all of his friends apparently. He was 22 at the time of this first post, but be sure to let me know how old he seems in the comments. Anyway, let's get started, because this is going to be fun. This is Reddit Relationship Advice, the Oscars party. At least I'm hoping this is long enough to hit 10 minutes, if not I'll include something else I guess. We begin with a post from February 12th of 2019 titled, "My friends are mad at me because I don't want to watch the Oscars with them. Every year for the past 8 to 9 years, me and my friends have had Oscar viewing parties to watch the Academy Awards. We would watch the ceremony and we'd even make a betting pool and see who gets the most correct predictions for who wins the awards. But this year I've decided not to watch the ceremony. I think the show is going to have a lot less personality without a host. I hate that they're not even going to televise some of the award presentations, and I just think we have a weak batch of nominees, especially in the Best Picture department. I have more reasons to not watch it, so that's what I'm doing this year. I went over to his apartment to tell my friend who was hosting the viewing party this year that I'm not watching and I won't be coming over to his place on Oscars night. He was actually pretty upset. He accused me of breaking tradition and he said that I have to watch it and come over. I told him that I have no interest in this year's ceremony and that I don't want to watch it. And what does my friend do? He actually calls an emergency meeting and invites over one other friend to tell him about this situation. The other friend arrives and they're both pissed at me for not wanting to go to the viewing party. And then one of them tried to guilt trip me into going by saying that these viewing parties are the best way to stay connected as friends. And I decided to just use my nuclear option. I told them that we must have a pretty shitty friendship if the Oscars are the only thing keeping us connected. One of my friends then said that I'm not watching simply because I'm jealous that a lot of the movies I liked didn't get nominated for Best Picture, so I started attacking his taste in movies. His favorite movie of the year was Bohemian Rhapsody, and I said to him, the only reason that it was even nominated is because the main character is gay. That movie is a pile of shit. Then the three of us get into this giant argument attacking each other's favorite movies of 2018. I decided to just leave and I turned to my friends and said, I'm outgrowing you man babies who throw a fit over a stupid awards show. And they both said, don't call it stupid. But I kept calling it stupid and I yelled that I'm never watching the Oscars again and that they can have their dumbass viewing parties without me. God, he sounds like an angry teenager. Not just a teenager, but like he just turned 13 and now he doesn't want to talk to anyone younger than him anymore. And don't worry, it will definitely get worse. I left the apartment in an extremely pissed off mood, and at first I felt good about telling them off like that, but in hindsight, I really feel like shit. Not only because of how the fight went, but because I've already lost one friend. I posted the story here about ditching him at Walmart, and it looks like I've lost at least 2 more. I don't even want to think about all of the other friends who usually attend the viewing parties every year. But I still think that my friends were overreacting to my decision. What do you think? Is there any way to undo this? Let's read some of his comments and maybe a comment or two replying to see what he decides to do about it. They can survive 1 year without me. If they're really going to cast me out over an awards show, that says more about them than me. Says the one who insulted them and screamed instead of just watching a show. Sorry, but you are all acting like kids. You are all adults, grow up. If a tradition isn't important to you, then you are willing to cast them aside. Why shouldn't they do the same to you? The issue isn't of the show itself, it's that you are blowing off a long-standing tradition for no reason. I've given my reasons. Part of the tradition is watching a ceremony that's competently handled. That's not the case this time. I have little interest in watching the ceremony this year and my friends can tough it out without me. You know what? Fine. I'll go to the stupid viewing party and I'll be sure to come back here and post an update about how horribly it went. Happy? Dude, you actually sound like a toddler. You asked for advice, then threw a hissy fit when people didn't just 100% back you up. To be honest, you're probably better not going now, as you're just gonna bitch and moan and ruin it for your friends so you can turn around later and say, see? I told you it was gonna suck. Okay, so Reddit talked him into going to the party, but they can't force him to like it. This is shaping up to be a great party, isn't it? A couple weeks later, February 25th, he posts the update. Well, the comments on the first post kept telling me to just suck it up and attend my friend's viewing party, so I went. I arrived yesterday about 30 minutes before the ceremony was set to start and I really tried to get into it and want to be there, but I couldn't. The first half hour of eating junk food and socializing with friends was fine, but the friend who I argued with, the one who was hosting the party, kept ignoring me and wouldn't acknowledge me. Then the ceremony started and I just couldn't get into it. The lack of host was really noticeable, and I wasn't quiet about it. I voiced how unhappy I was without a host, but most everyone else just kept telling me to shut up and watch. I also wasn't doing good in my betting pool, so I asked if I could just skip the betting, but the host finally acknowledged me and said out loud, "Imagine being such a sore loser that you want to quit the betting pool just because you've lost only a few bets so far." The show was proving to be really boring, and I also really hated some of the winners. Bohemian Rhapsody for Best Editing? Give me a goddamn break. And again, I wasn't quiet with my displeasure. I went on a little rant about Bohemian Rhapsody winning Best Editing, and one other friend who loved Bohemian Rhapsody told me to shut up. I couldn't understand why everyone was so pissy with me. In previous years, we'd all be fine with one person in our group ranting against a winner, and even some other guys had done it tonight as well, but apparently I was the bad guy and they were all ganging up on me. After some more bullshit winners, Green Book for Screenplay and Rami Malek for Best Actor, it came time for Best Picture, and that's where things got bad. They announced Green Book as the winner, and I lost control of myself. I shouted, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Behind Bohemian Rhapsody, it was the worst of the Best Picture nominees. I kept ranting over the speech from the crew, and the host of the party shushed me. The ceremony ended, and we all started talking. We were getting ready to go over the betting pool and see the winner when the host spoke up and said, "I just wish Hereditary was nominated for Best Picture." I spoke up and said, "The only reason you liked Hereditary is because there's chocolate cake in it, fat ass." You have no idea how hard it is to say that line without laughing. This friend was noticeably heavy, and I knew this would get a rise from him. I figured that's what he deserved for being such a dick to me the whole night. He did get pissed at that, and then he started shoving me. I shoved back, and then we got into a brief physical fight. Our friends broke us apart, and the host yelled at me to leave. I ripped up my betting pool card and yelled that I'm done with everyone at this stupid party, and I left. So that's how the night went. I never wanted to watch this year's Oscars in the first place, and I was right not to. My friends were all ganging up on me for stuff that wasn't out of the ordinary, and the host made me out to be the bad guy. You all commented and kept telling me to just go to the party, and I did just that. Happy? Yeah, I think the comment was right. By the time the party's over, he seems less like a teenager and more like a toddler. Have you considered you were the problem? Because imagine being so petty over something you blame Reddit for having a shit party. I blame my friends for ganging up on me over stuff that they were also doing in the past and during last night's show as well. What, they're allowed to complain about certain winners and I'm not? And that was that, I guess. But you know, we like redemption arcs here. I'm sure he's doing better a year later, right? I can't find the actual link for the last one, but I do have the text. This is from February 10th of this year. Last year, me and my close group of friends got into a big fight at our Oscars viewing party. It got physical and verbally abusive, and me and these friends haven't talked since said fight. Last week I contacted the host of the party to see if I could come to this year's party, but he flat out told me that I wasn't invited. I've been faced with the prospect of watching the Oscars alone for the first time in roughly 10 years, so yesterday I went to his apartment to offer up an apology. I went to his apartment and he almost immediately started telling me to leave, but I apologized and I promised that it wouldn't happen again. I admitted that my behavior last year was immature and that I shared most of the blame, but that seemed to piss him off even more. He told me that I shared all of the blame and he called my apology piss poor. He reiterated that I wasn't invited and he told me that he doesn't care to see me ever again. His parting words to me were, "Everything you touch, you always manage to make a piece of shit out of it." I really did try to apologize and be sincere, but I guess he wasn't in a forgiving mood. I think that he should have been willing to let the past remain in the past, and I just wanted to go back to the good old days of us watching the Oscars together as friends. I think that my friend is the asshole for still holding a grudge. What do you think? Yeah, he didn't talk to them for the entire year and then tried to apologize at the last minute to go to the party. Then he tried to get Reddit to take his side as usual, but some people remembered the old post. I am so lost on the point of burning bridges with your real-life friends just to try to prove you're right to random Redditors. But be sure to let me know what you think about this guy and whether you'd let him come back to the party after that. I think it's pretty clear that the party was more of a last straw. There's no way he's just fine in other situations after that. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, consider leaving a like. If you have something to say, definitely comment. I think YouTube likes all types of engagement, really, so if you want to leave a dislike, it's technically better than doing nothing. If you're new here and want more content like this, I would suggest subscribing. That number is less important than a lot of people make it out to be, but it does help content get to you more often. I'd also like to thank my generous patrons who help me out with demonetization. I don't censor myself, of course, so I get hit pretty hard sometimes. By the way, this is the kind of video I want to make more often. I really like reading stories that have updates. Let me know if this was a good idea. I know it's a little shorter than usual, but that was just the length of the story, and I didn't want to read too many comments. It gets kind of old. I'll probably be back with Nice Guys or something more standard very soon here, tomorrow maybe. Well, that's all. Thanks again. Have a great day, everyone, and maybe don't drop your friends just to convince Reddit you were right. And they decided he was wrong anyway, so great choice.